What's up people, how's it going? So in this video I'm going to be taking a look at Nippon Marathon on the Nintendo Switch and giving some of my thoughts. This is a game, you can get it on PS4 and Steam and other platforms I think, but I'm going to be looking at the Nintendo Switch version today. So this game retails for around £20 physical, so it's more of a budget game. I believe it retails for a similar amount on the eShop for the digital version, but I actually managed to bag this for around £7 new and sealed off eBay, which was pretty cool. Now it's not a game that I think is worth even at its budget price, the sort of £20 that it retails for. But at the same time, I can't necessarily say that it's not worth that amount, and you'll see why as I start to dive into my thoughts a bit more with the game. As you witnessed as this game was starting up, there's some pretty horrendous loading times with this game. Really bad, and you could see there was a little kind of dip in the frame rate as I then went into the main menu. So straight off the bat, I'll say there's some glaring technical problems with this game, namely really bad loading times, a lot of frame rate dips, and then graphically this game is horrible in a lot of ways. It looks very much like a PS1 game at HD resolutions and, you know, HD sort of resolution textures. Not that the textures are any better than a sort of PS1 level game, but even for a PS1 game it looks bad. Horrible animations as well, but I would say that the main technical issues with the game, namely the frame rate problems and the loading times, they are the sort of glaring issues for me that I think hold the game back and are problematic for the game. I think a lot of the other technical issues with the game, the fact that it graphically, and in terms of how it performs with the animations and stuff, is very amateurish. Bearing in mind this is an indie, you know, small developed game. I'm not sure who the developer is, but I know it's published by P-Cube, who put out a lot of more sort of niche and a lot of Japanese games. They publish a lot of visual novels, a few of which I own on the Nintendo Switch. They've been a really good publisher for those kind of titles on the Switch. Raging Loop is one title that I picked up, which is a great visual novel. Maybe I'll do a video on it at some point. I really enjoyed that one. So, you know, I was intrigued by this game when I first heard of it. If you've ever played games like Bishi Bashi Special or Incredible Crisis on the PS1, it's a similar kind of vibe to that, very oddball Japanese kind of style party game. Kind of, I think, takes inspiration from game shows like Takeshi's Castle, is it called? So basically the main sort of gist of the game is that you're running through these various levels, racing against people, avoiding like various wacky obstacles and stuff. And as you can see here on the main menu, we've got a story mode, so there's a single player campaign. And even though from what I gathered from a lot of reviews, they said that this game is only really worthwhile if you're interested in it for the multiplayer experience. Whereas for me, I actually think the story mode kind of adds a lot to it, and I would still say it's worthwhile picking up for just purely a single player experience if you haven't got anybody to play with multiplayer. Now there's no online, so it's purely local multiplayer. I believe I haven't even been on the multiplayer with it. So yeah, it looks like it's just local multiplayer. The story mode follows various characters throughout the game, so I think if we go in here, you can see there's a bunch of characters. I've been playing through as Nishibori, I think that's how you say it. So 4 different main characters, and their stories intertwined. So playing as Nishibori, I've come across the other characters, so I think the stories are kind of interwoven. The story is very funny, very wacky. We'll look at some of that shortly. I think first of all we'll dive into just showing you some of the main core gameplay. We've got party games as well, which I have not tried these, so I can't really comment on those. maybe we'll look at some of those, sort of, yeah, without making this video too long. In-game store is where you can, playing through the single player campaign, you get money, yen, I think it is the currency. And you can, as you can see here, you can get upgrades, unlock new characters, unlock different modes like turbo mode. And then there's a tutorial as well showing you how to play the game. So we'll take a look at the versus mode. Let's go into a single race. So can I actually, yeah, I think, I'm assuming that's going to put me against CPU characters. So let's select a course here. This is quite a fun one. Super Ishiba Sweep Supermarket style level. So you'll see here, we're probably going to be hitting a very long loading time into the game, playing through the single player campaign. There's long story sections. I think a lot of the reason why they feel so long is because when it switches to any different area in those sort of cutscenes, if you like, there is a loading time. And the gameplay is kind of 50-50 in the single player campaign between these story sections and doing the actual races. So I kind of feel like there's not enough of the actual racing. So here we go. Yeah, long load times.
Which one will it be?
Now you can see the graphics are horrible. I mean, look at some of those. Those crowd animations are sort of, yeah, waving very robotically. Oh dear, bad start. Yeah, you can see the frame rate is kind of not consistent at all, and there are some huge slowdowns. So you've got to kind of try and keep up with the other players. If you end up too far behind, so if you go off camera, like I did just then you'll be out of the race. Sort of until every player is eliminated, so the person who comes first, it will then award them a star, and so you have sections throughout the race, and then the person who comes out with the most stars at the end is going to be the winner. And you can see there's various enemies. Yeah, you can see there's some real like massive dips in the frame rate where it really just stutters a lot. So yeah, you can see we're now kind of carrying on from where the race left off, and I'm back in the race. So I have to make sure that I don't lose too many times, so that I don't fall too far behind with the amount of stars that I have. And you can pick up items, which I can't. Yeah, it's the left shoulder button to then use your items. The controls are a little bit weird. You would kind of expect it would be like the A button or something. But yeah, I do feel like even though the graphics are terrible, and they really are bad, you know, they're not even kind of, because I'm all for a sort of more simplistic art style, I guess, and that kind of retro look, but it's not even that, it just looks straight up amateurish. And yet at the same time, that kind of adds to its charm. And you know, the quirky kind of, the voiceovers, the commentators throughout the races, which kind of sounds to me like someone American trying to approximate somebody Japanese talking in English. I could be wrong there. It could actually be somebody Japanese talking in English. But yeah, it's very quirky. There's some funny commentary. And all the characters have like pretty outlandish designs. There are bits like this though, which are just like straight up weird. Like getting onto that beam is really, really difficult, especially because the controls are just pretty bad. Again, though, it's like the bad controls and the... Yeah, I wasn't meant to go that way. The sort of ramshackleness of it kind of adds to the charm of it. Like, there is a lot of those kind of things in this game that are definitely bad, but they're almost so bad they're good. You know, whereas the actual performance issues with the frame rate and loading times just detract from the experience. You know, they don't add to the charm at all. Long loading times don't add to the charm. You get these throughout each race. There'll usually be like 1 or 2 kind of mini game sort of things that pop up. Oh god. Yeah, it's so hard, so easy to get knocked out. Like, you just hit one obstacle. Like, I still can't manage to jump over anything. The timing for being able to correctly jump over something is really weird. And also I found as well, like, you can definitely lose through running too far ahead and ending up too far ahead off camera. Like, yeah, the camera's very badly designed as well. Like, it doesn't... I can imagine it'd be even worse playing with friends locally on multiplayer, where, yeah, it's very hard for everyone to stay in the field of view of the camera.
3, 2, 1.
But I don't know, you know, I mean, I've no idea whether it's kind of coming across just watching me play this game, but I mean, look at that, it's just like, it's ridiculous. I just flew off there onto somewhere like I felt I shouldn't have been able to even fall on there, and that just got me completely stuck and there was no way out of it. But I think that kind of like shittiness could sort of adds to the fun and the hilarity of it, especially playing it with friends. Yeah, it's just so ridiculous. And you'll see when we take a look at the single player story mode as well, like, that is very quirky and outlandish. So yeah, there's a lot, like, I feel like I shouldn't like this game as much as I do, but I do like it. I've no idea as well, like, I would assume that on other platforms the performance issues are just as bad. Like, I don't imagine that this is kind of optimized in any way for any particular platform. Yeah, I think it's just straight up bad all round. And yeah, there are various different pickups you can get. Some which you sort of throw directly at your opponents. Some which, like those mushrooms, kind of seem to leave a trail of like bad smell or something, which like slows your opponents down, I guess, maybe. Like, it's not very clear at all what does what.
I'm not quite sure what to make of this.
And there are bits like this where I feel like you should be able to jump on those spinning plates. I feel like that's what you're meant to do. But it's almost easier, like, just trying to run around them. Because, yeah, I just don't seem to be able to jump properly on anything. But you can see when I... Yeah, when I jump there, it's like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's hard to get the timing right with it. Okay, so I think I've come out as the clear winner.
Now, let's put those scores neatly into the leaderboard.
And so yeah, in the single player mode, oh okay, you earn cash in if you just play the races in versus mode. That's quite cool. So you don't have to play through the single player story mode in order to unlock anything. So we'll take a little look at the story mode.
Who would you like to choose?
I guess we won't continue where I left off because it might be a bit confusing just jumping in the middle of it. We'll start with this guy, Jay Darwin. Let's have a look at his story, and the story is genuinely entertaining. Like, it's completely ridiculous. Obviously, you know, it's not going to be going to win any awards for its narrative, but yeah, yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. So yeah, anytime this year. Oh, here we go. A letter from Grandpa. I mean, look how those animations are just, they're so bad, but in a good way. So this guy obviously loves shrimps. Yeah, all the characters seem to have, like the other character I've been playing through as. She loves narwhals and wants to do something with, oh, what do you call it, like a marinologist, I think. She wants to become one of those. This guy obviously loves shrimps. Oh, is it lobsters? Oh, okay, not shrimps. I don't know my my sea creatures especially well. Okay, so he's a lobster fanatic. And for some reason, all these characters, the four main characters it follows, they all want to run in the Nippon Marathon, which is like some yearly, you know, big athletic event that goes on in Japan, obviously entirely fictional. And I think they're all motivated basically by the cash prize at the end of it that's going to help them fulfill whatever they want to do. Yeah, the other two characters, you've got a character that's a dog, and I'm not sure what his backstory is. The other character is a character that looks like an old man, but apparently is a woman, and it is an old man that wears skirts and female clothes. But I don't think it's meant to be like a transgender character or anything. It's just a woman that has a bald head and a beard. So there you go. Oh, and the music pretty much is the same kind of handful of tracks, just looped over throughout these story sections, and you can actually like really very clearly hear the points where the track stops and loops again. I would be interested actually to look into who the actual developer was for this game, and if they've made any games before, and if it, you know, how small of an indie developer it is. I mean, it's possible, performance issues aside, that they did actually intend for it to be very amateurish in it, you know, like with the graphics and animations and stuff. But it's kind of like, things like that are okay if it's intentional in a way, but then bad controls, performance issues with the game engine, not so much. You can see here on the map that you can see, you know, sort of how many different areas there are, and you've got 4 characters to play through as. So I feel like there's potentially quite a lot of hours that you could put into this game if it doesn't drive you mad. I feel like it probably would. The story isn't interesting enough and is too repetitive, and with all the loading times and stuff, that yeah, maybe you would get a bit sick of it playing through as every character in the single player campaign. I do. Yeah, I love this. So you've got this camera person for the TV station, and every time she hears the name of the famous Nippon Marathon racer, yeah, she just screams. There's lots of quirky dialogue like that with just weird characters.
Hey, Willie Jones だ。
すごいすごい。残念。また遊んでね。
And here we go, another loading screen. And we won't be into the race yet. So you can see these sections are pretty lengthy. And like I say, like, the narrative is entertaining, but I just wish there wasn't these loading times in between every section. It just really drags out each bit, and to the point where you kind of, you know, sitting there like, okay, yeah, I want to start the race now, please.
Now,
Okay, here we go. Yeah, no, we are into the race.
Who is the best?
Oh man, look at that. I love the waving animations. It's just, yeah, so bad. So bad. So you can see it's more, you know, this is literally all there is to the main core gameplay. Oh god. Ooh. So I can see it getting repetitive for sure after a certain length of time. But it is fun. I keep sort of reiterating the same points. I just wish, I don't mind it sort of feeling like low budget and stuff. I just wish it had a little bit more polish to it, because there are too many things that just hinder the experience, that make it less fun. And yet still, like, I don't feel like, if you're watching this and this is the kind of game like me, you see it and you think like, you know, it interests you, you think like, oh, you know, it's pretty quirky, and if you've enjoyed games in the past like Bishy Bashy Special or Incredible Crisis, those kind of wacky party games, I feel like you probably, even if you did pay 20 quid for this full retail, like, you're not getting your money's worth necessarily. Definitely, I think if you can, you should wait for a sale on this. I have seen it, even physical, go for as low as £8. I think it was the Game Collection, which are an online retailer. They were selling this at one point for £8 physical, and I nearly did pick it up then. But I think I just had too many other games, like I always do. I have a never-ending backlog, but at that point, yeah, I didn't think it was worth buying. But I'd seen it as well. There was a point where it's on sale on the eShop for around £5. And at that kind of price point, if it's under a tenner, I feel like it's worth it. if you ever see it, if it goes for like a couple of quid or something, like super cheap, like some little eShop games like this do, then 100% like it's worth the punt. You know, it's one of those games that if you pay a couple of quid for it, and even if you only play it for like a few hours, have a bit of a laugh with it, that's probably worth it in my opinion. Come on. Yeah, you do have to, I might have said this already, but for each race in the single player story mode, yeah, oh dear, you have to come first place in order to progress. See, what was that about? I hit a pickup box and that made me fall over, which is not what is supposed to happen. You're supposed to get the pickup. Oh yeah, there's like some terrible collision detection in this, where you'll just be like miles off something and yet you'll still hit it, like weird physics, where you just go like flying somewhere if you hit something or fall off somewhere. But like I said already, I feel like in a lot of ways that does kind of, not all the time, for sure, it's as annoying sometimes, but a lot of the time it does add to the charm of it. I think especially if you're playing this with friends, just having a laugh at like how ramshackle the whole game is. You see there, that was what I was talking about with the camera, where you get too far ahead, where like you almost start to run off camera because it's trying to keep track of the CPU characters who haven't entirely gone off camera, I guess, to the point where they'd be eliminated. So it's still trying to keep up with those, but then it's trying to keep up with you as well, and you just end up running too far ahead. And then, yeah, you can get to the point where you're so far towards the edge of the screen, you can't really see what you're doing, and you just end up, yeah, falling off somewhere or something, which can be pretty annoying. So let's have a little look. We'll have a little look at go back to the title screen, and we'll have a little look at the mini games, which I've not tried. Looks like there are only 2 of those. It does really kind of blow my mind a little bit though, how, here we go, party games. So what shall we try? Let's try Go-Go Trolley, because I like bowling style games, so we'll give this a go. But yeah, it blows my mind how, you know, you have like some of the first party Nintendo titles on Switch. I've been playing through Pikmin 3 at the moment. I got that on launch day, and that literally, like at the start of when you go into a level, there is a loading time. It's kind of masked slightly by a sort of a screen that comes up sort of giving you game tips and stuff, but it's literally like 2 seconds of loading, and beyond that, like, you never see a loading screen in the game. And then you have games like this, which have constant loading times, and they're not nearly as, you know, technically demanding as a game like Pikmin 3. Okay, what are we doing here? Oh, right, I see. Don't need to change the name. Yeah, let's just do me and 1 CPU. Oh, right, okay. So I guess you can't do CPU with this. This is multiplayer only, that you share the controller. So I guess I can just play as both characters. I have no idea what I'm doing here. It would be good if there was some kind of explanation. So that looks like well, fuel. It says fuel, a fuel gauge meter. Okay. So the closer I move forwards, the more that's going up, but I don't know what that means. I'm just going to go straight in the center, max fuel. I guess I'll press A. Oh, okay, and then you've got your angle. Alright, so I'm just... Oh, and I didn't even take note of those barrels there. Maybe I shouldn't have gone dead center. But whatever. I just... Oh, okay. So, what do I... Oh, right, I just have to... Sure. Okay. This is a bit weird. Wait. Don't tell me I can just knock them all over. Oh, and I'm falling down. I'm gonna laugh if that actually works. Oh, right, no. Yeah, because it resets the pins and it's already counted what you scored. Let's go. Oh, so yeah, I guess the closer you go forward, that's going to determine like how sort of fast your throw would be in terms of normal bowling. So I guess you wouldn't always want too fast a throw. I am going to go a slight angle. It's probably not going to work. Okay. I feel like however you set, especially with the angle of the trolley, that's probably not going to make much difference depending on how you run into it. I'm not sure if you can actually jump in the trolley as well. I mean, maybe that is actually what you're supposed to be doing. I do not know. Yeah, see, this is the character that I thought was an old man at first. But no, apparently it's a woman. Yeah, wears women's clothes, but doesn't seem to be transgender. Maybe it is meant to be a transgender character. I don't know. I think, to be honest, that's probably just... Oh, that was terrible. That's probably just reading into it too much. I don't think you're really meant to, be offered up much in the way of an explanation. I mean, one of the characters is a dog, so you know. And I say dog, more like a kind of dog humanoid type character, like a dog-human hybrid. Oh, okay, that was a pretty good shot. Ooh, nearly a strike. I reckon I can get spare. Alright, so I'm not going to go because, I think it would take a long time to go through the whole game with you, so I'll just do this shot and then we'll wrap things up because this has been quite a long video, but hopefully it's given you a good, I know a lot of video reviews, like a lot of the video reviews I saw on this, showed you a good amount of gameplay, and obviously it was edited up, whereas this isn't the case here. So it was able to cover more of the gameplay in a shorter amount of time. But sometimes you don't really get the full picture on a game. It's a bit easier to gauge when you actually see someone in real time playing it, especially as they're commentating on it. So hopefully that is what I've achieved here. In summary, it's I think if you like weird oddities like this, if you like quirky party games and you are willing to accept some of the shortcomings of it, the technical issues mainly, specifically for me, the frame rate and the stuttering, the real dips in the frame rate and the long loading times. Beyond that, it's really, it's hard to quantify sometimes with price point because, you know, it depends. If you get hundreds of hours of fun out of this, I don't imagine you would, but maybe you would if you ended up playing this with your friends all the time, then maybe it is worth 20 quid. I don't know, you know, it's all very subjective, but at the same time I do think there is a kind of threshold in terms of how much something is worth. It's a monetary value, and you know, when you can get a AAA first party experience like Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey for 40 to 50 quid, and you'll get hundreds of hours of, you know, absolutely pristine top level gaming experience, and then there's this for 20 quid. So you know, I would say if you can get this on sale, then go for it. Sure, if you like, you know, if this interests you as it did me, it's a weird little curiosity. I think you can get it, I'm not sure about PS4, I think you can pick that up physically quite cheap. On Steam, I have seen it on sale or getting a Steam key from, you know, not directly off Steam. I think you can get it like definitely under £10, around £5, so it might be a little cheaper than it is the majority of the time on Switch. But yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, check out some of my other videos. Hope you enjoyed my thoughts / review on this, and I'll see you next time.